but the actions speak louder than
Right,
words.
I just want to bring in, we have someone who's been a victim of one of these attacks, Nurjahan Khatun. What happened to you?
Hi, morning. Thanks for having me on. What happened to me a good few years ago now was I was walking home one evening, early evening, around 5 o'clock, and I've noticed a group of young white men, ranging between eight to 9 of them actually. They rushed towards me and pushed me down onto the floor. Now, while they were doing this, they were screaming out Bin Laden, scum, and other verbal, quite abusive words at me. Now, because they were a lot taller than me, they pushed me to the ground. While I fell to the ground, I kept feeling my hijab, my headscarf being pulled, my burqa being pulled, and I was being kicked, I was being punched. So what felt like a lifetime that was going on, a few minutes later, these white young men, I felt something was being poured over me from a couple of various sources, some sort of liquid or fluid. I realized later on when it splashed into my mouth that I was actually being urinated on. So I felt physically 3 sources of urination coming towards me. Now, towards the end of this attack, something was being rubbed by my face by 2 hands. Now, whether that was 1 person or 2 person, I don't recall, because I was trying to protect my head by covering my head with my arms while I was screaming for help. Now, while this was happening, I kept thinking, what on earth is it that they're rubbing into my face? I never would ever believe that I had dog feces actually being rubbed in my face.
I'm so sorry. What did the police say? Did they treat this as a racist attack, or did they say it was Islamophobic?
Well, they classified it as a race attack. Clearly it wasn't, because of the words that they were using, some which I cannot repeat on air. It's very clearly that it was an anti-Muslim prejudice attack. I've actually had, I'm presuming, the same group of white men who were shouting and throwing stones at me weeks leading up to that in the area that I was living at that time.
I'm sorry.
So it was very clear there was anti-Muslim. It was very clear that my hijab was being pulled off and the burqa was being ripped off.
Nurjahan, thank you very much for coming on and sharing that story with us. I mean, it is an appalling tale, Anne.